I'm gonna do like those like AI animal like clear the bullshit, fucking evil eye, whatever. No. Hello everyone. How are we doing? Happy March 1st. It's March 1st. I know how much you all really need this check-in. We need to be talking. We need to be like on the phone with God. We need to be like, Alexis, are we good? Are we good? What's going on? Are you tweaking? Are you tweaking? Yes, of course. No, but I just wanted to come on and do obviously a sort of March message overview. We're just in the thick of such crazy stuff. We've got this eclipse coming up in what, 2 days? Holy shit. Oh, that's good. Whew, man. I'm addicted. I am. Fuck, man. So good. Okay, team. Hi. How are you doing? I love you all so much. Get comfortable. I hope. Matter of fact, I want pause this video. Go get in bed. Go get in your bed for the night. You know, get in bed and do the little look. You're somebody special. Get in bed. Matter of fact, are we feeling a little uneasy, guys? Get your guys. Sit them up. Okay. So, we're here. We're going to do the March overview. I feel like it would be kind of cool to do a 4-week breakdown since I am happening to do this on March 1. I feel like you girls need to know where this is going. Because regardless, I know my stew's good. I know we're not in the Matrix anymore because we haven't been there in fucking eons. But I do know we still witness that going around. And, you know, and I know you guys are always like, Alexis, get God on the phone and fucking let's hear what's going on just subjectively. So I feel like this is an information kind of thing. I know you girls love it when I do the predictive thing, you know. So yeah, I'm sure everything that flows out of my fucking mouth will be exactly that. But all in all, today for me, it was interesting because I feel like while we're still, in my opinion, you could still, up until really the astrological new year, which is like the spring, Aries season, if you will. Really up until then, I still think we're going to feel a lot of that like closure frequency. So right now I just saw acceptance, but right now it's kind of like the acceptance that's needed to recognize that like closure, collapse, and things are logical. So a lot of the things that are scary in life in general, let's just open it up in life in general. If something like scary happens, I think the way that we mitigate the nervous system is the formula. So, okay, we got a scary outcome, very scary. What is the A plus B equals C? You know, we know C, what is A and B? And I feel like at this time, when you have clarity like that, you can actually accept what's happening a lot more. You know, like for me and Dennis right now, we're having to do a really deductive sort of reasoning thing where it's like, okay, this thing is coming to an end. And sometimes I think also, I guess, and this is crazy because you girls know me, but I do think this is also something that God would really say. This is the time where an emotional reaction is not needed. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So you don't need to engage. Whatever's going to happen is fated and destined, right? So that in and of itself means it's going to take place however you've met the alignment for it. What's not needed is for you to throw in, so listen to what I'm saying. It's fated and destined. So this has to happen. So if something is closing, you have to close it. If something is, right? So instead of doing the emotional thing, because you're probably going to be in the third dimensional situation where it's like, this has to end now. And but the ending actually that you're going through, that actually was probably your worst fear that you were really avoiding, actually comes and happens quickly because of simple logic. People putting logic over an emotional response. It's not even beef. It's not even like you're upsetting me. Like, I think also the other thing I'm like checking in, I think you guys are gonna be happy to be like, oh, you type all this stuff. That's where this is where I'm helping you guys decode the internet and media, and I'm doing this for you guys. This is love. The way that I can sit, I'm usually like at a riverbank writing my fucking prose or something, or I'm serving people shakes or something, right? And I do this strategically so that I can also support you guys' nervous system redevelopment as we move from the indoctrination of social media age to, learning to actually consciously live with it, consciously use the tool instead of just being like guinea pig testing how it works on ourselves. So when we transition into that next era, a lot of what we'll need to understand is like what the media does like to the nervous, like, because we didn't know what it was or what Wi-Fi internet, all because we, for the last 2-3 decades, it's like we're coming at this thing, and now that we're done coming at it, now that we've like got enough of the like algorithm of it, the algorithm really just represents like what we understand about it. And so we understand now, how the tool that media is. I'm always here to provide media excuse me, y'all, I just had a lethal plate of red beans and rice, so that's why I'm a little gassy, but anyways. But yeah, so here I do a lot of media literacy as well, because obviously that's like what I got my education in. So, I really understood the power of media as one of the, in my opinion, the biggest technological advancement I think humanity has done. And with that, I think there just comes a lot of legislation. I think there just comes a lot of like activity, a lot of just activeness when it comes to something as big and as boundless as the media sphere. So that's for the first channel message. It's like the things that are happening are destined and fated events. So an emotional reaction really will just add on top of that, because it's not, what if I told you your emotion about the thing doesn't change, that you're still gonna have to do the thing? This is like one of those times you gotta G up and put on your spiritual armor, because it's like you might have to initiate being like, okay, I actually have to let's just use an example. I gotta cut this friend out of my life. And usually when it's not this time, like 2026, March of 2026, when it's not like this astrological configuration, usually a friendship breakup, a lot of what would be in the filler of that plot, like the exchange back and forth, it was like, are we breaking up right now as a friend, whatever, right? A lot of that would come from, maybe a salvaging aspect of it, or a lot of times, like, I think when you're dealing with things that have ruptures, that are supposed to be working but now are not for some reason, I think, again, yeah, there's this propensity to like, well, maybe if we talk it out and express emotions about it, it will veer us back to, it will reverse the inevitable. But I'm here to tell you the inevitable is not reversible. It's not gonna reverse because you guys talk about how it felt to be in this destined and fated experience. It is, in fact, just time to, one, surrender to the fact that, like, I think, two, you all will really relate to this, where it's like, what has to happen next, you know what it is. Like, what the fated and destined change is, you know what it is. And so, because you know what it is, it's really about surrendering to the fact that that's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's the outcome that needs to happen. I've got to figure out what my role, my position is. I'm not always saying you guys are, I don't know what side of the end of this you're on, but again, regardless, whatever changes are being initiated, again, the emotionality aspect of it really isn't much of an aspect at this time. It's not really going to do too much, because these are things that are, there's not really a sentimentality, because we're in times where everything has been stripped away. So you are literally getting back what you are. So if things are moving around, if you're not aligned to certain things anymore, that's not what you are anymore. And so it can feel hard, because you can be an owner or a boss or an employer, and you lose a bunch of fucking employees or something, right? What that would tell you if you're losing it at this time is like, whatever those things are, they don't reflect you anymore. Take that with what you will. God's not really trying to talk right now. God's just trying to get the stuff that's got to happen, the judgments that's got to happen, right? Because it's just a series of what I feel like is kind of like the searing off the edge, or like soldering off the edge of something. It's like we have to really put a hard, we gotta, if now they're showing me like, when you go to like Lamb's Candies and they're like rolling out the candy and they're like, they like cut the little candy pieces. It's like time to like cut the little pieces of candy from the long stick of candy. So it's just like, God is like, we got to cut the candy. And I just feel like that is all of the things that I could support you with this time. It's like, again, emotionality, the way that I even just feel like, again, if you've got to separate from someone, I feel it's a lot of like separating and realigning, separating and then realigning and attaching to something new. So no matter what it is, there should be this sort of logic based understanding that's like, we're moving this way because we either can or can't do that anymore. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't really matter. And that's because I'm delivering information like that this today, where it's just like, it really doesn't matter. It's not even really worth the back and forth, because if we all know where we're headed and it's not the same direction, and we all know we don't reflect each other anymore, then it's like, this doesn't need to, because I think at this time people, you know, remorse will be felt because you're going to feel a lot of things. I think like there's generally a lot of unaccountable people too that are also going to be handed back themselves. And I think it's meant, the way that it happens is supposed to be disruptive, because you're someone who gaslights. So you're someone who does the narcissism thing. So it's like, you're not seeing, you are what they say you are. So you're not seeing this world as mirroring you in any way. And so the danger there is that like, you might be getting news or information, Uranus style, that's meant to actually really disrupt your consciousness and really wake you up to like what the reality of things is actually. So that was like a big download, because it's like really like in my cranium, like really in my noggin. So you're welcome for that. I'm gonna take another sip of water, like pause that and like digest that, because I just feel how many of you are like, whoa, that's what's happening. Okay, that's good. That's good. And to round out the conversation, many of you might be like, whoa, Alexis, where's your loyalty? Well, I think I'm using myself as an example this week. A lot of what I've been saying is not polarizing, it's very decisive. Whereas people might have had critiques reading some of my words like, wow, like, it's like that. That's, you know, but then even they can't form those words really, because the way that I'm speaking is so sharp, because it is so derived in logic. Like, I'm presenting you my logic. Like, if I'm calling you a bitch ass whore, it's because I'm like, look at you operating in slavery. I will show you the 3 sites of which you are still operating in slavery. This is why I no longer like you, period. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm advising you guys to do. If you could kind of take an Alexis Ray Morningstar approach to that, it's like, where it's like, okay, guy, it's like, for X, Y, and Z reasons, this is why it's clipped, and this is why I'm not even having an emotionality about it. You know, I am just giving you the logic, the code of it all. Not me, the sex toys on screen. Guys, look at my 2026 hang. Birthday gift. This is my birthday from my husband. So anyways. So yeah. So that's what I mean to say. I would really tell you to follow by example, because a lot of the things right now, like I said, it's an inevitable. It's not going the opposite way. This isn't a retrograde, or really just a time in general where there's much to sway, you know, and especially if you're someone who there's slick talkers aren't going to do, there's genuinely not shit for a slick talker right now. It's not going to get you anything. Wishful thinking is not going to get you anything. You are really on some aligned shit. And I would really implore you guys that these sort of random karmic events that you hear, like for example, today there was like, there was a shooting, regardless of how they want to classify it. There's like a mass shooting, at fucking Buford's on fucking West 6. So you already know that's some fishy government shit, because who the fuck is shooting up at Buford's? They know Nigeria. First of all, there's no black people in Austin, so you know that's a lie. But I digress. Apparently there's like Africans shooting up Buford's now on West 6. Like, because what the fuck would an African black ass man be doing? Whatever. So, but again, a lot of those things, people are really like, I hate the way the third dimension also processes things that happen, because that's spiritual karma. Someone who you might think in this lifetime randomly just shot you actually is like a past life, has past life whatever, you know, past life beef. In this dimension, in this reality, it looks like they just shot at the whatever. But people's spirits, you don't know what's inside people. You don't even know what they are. Fucking could have been an Anunnaki, could have been kind of fucking any guys, you know what I mean? It could be anybody on the other side of the skin. You really don't know in these times because nothing was ordained. Most of you motherfuckers' parents just fucking went against God and birthed you anyways, and so that's why we're here in this society. But anyways, I digress. And so, oh, no, don't start, Siri. And so, Ski, when that happens, I also want you guys to take a deeper lens and realize that everything is way deeper. So there's not really random acts. Like, again, like if this is what I try to tell you guys, you can't be scared to die because, I mean, I don't know if you die because someone like shot you randomly, like, you know, or you were just like a victim of some sort of like whatever. It's all spiritual. You know what I'm saying? And it all has, you know, it's spiritual implications. Sorry, Bubba. That actually affect the realities that we're seeing. Because we've all been in different bodies. Our souls have done it a million times. And our souls also know when that dawning day is. So just know that. So just, again, one of the best things that I do when I come on here is like, you're not in any more danger than you are every day. I think the only people who would be freaking out right now are the idiots who actually think their governments keep them safe, their jobs keep them safe, their home. That's not what keeps you safe. You participate in those things, but the source of all of the safety you have is divine protection. It's divinity. So all we need to make sure we understand at our studio is like our belief system is as follows. My protection and my help comes from the all-seeing eye. It doesn't come from anybody on this plane, nothing on this grid, no skyscraper, no bank account, no nothing. None of that stuff is actually what pays me, keeps me fed, keeps me alive. God works through my own will to keep me safe and in alignment. So let's just make sure that's cleared up. So there's nothing to be freaked out about, y'all, because the only way you're going to attract nukes and missiles really over your head is if you don't have enough imagination and spiritual sensitivity to know we've been in war times since the dawn of humanity. We haven't gotten to the age of light yet. So there's nothing to freak out about because that's always been the case. You disassociate because maybe you lived in a developing nation where you're at the edge of innovation and resource and development, and that's good for you. But there's always been places on this planet that are completely at a time out of time not there. And for those people, many of them are always targets or the toilet bowls for fucking horrendous, egregious capitalist propaganda. So when we use a lot of places on this beautiful, majestic earth as a toilet bowl for our own bullshit, we can easily disassociate and think it's crazy that there's a military that does stuff. What do you think the military does? They're always working. Yeah, there may not always be a world war going on, or there may not always be whatever, but those guys are always shooting at something, packing up something, getting ready to strike something. That's what we are training the guys for. Are we confused? So if you, at this time, if you really want to do the revolutionary thing, if you really want to, you know, you're just going to have to understand that it is a so within, so without type of experience. So thank you guys for letting me go on for 18 gorgeous minutes. I think you guys ate that up. I think you guys love my insight on life. I think you are like, oh my God, it's really scary out here, except for when you're talking. Like, cool. Because don't I seem super stable and calm? But not just like the pacify you calm, not the calm that's like, it's okay, there's missiles above your head, just go make dinner. Like, that's crazy. I'd never tell you that. If you were in fucking Dubai right now, God, may God have mercy on your soul. I would not be Snapchatting that shit. I would fucking be backstrofing down the nearest river trying to get the fuck. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing. I really don't. So, may God have mercy on all of your souls. But if you wanted to do the soul research, you could understand why God's doing you the way that God's doing you. It's because of the false gods you serve. There's no such thing as a deity or a sacred being a false god. False gods are things that are actually not sourcing. There can be a lot of names for what you guys think God is, but anything that I really consider a false god is things that really just are not the creative force. Like, don't ever call another human being or something humans made God. It's not. You could believe God was Ganesha. You could believe God was Allah. You could believe God was Jesus Christ. I don't know. But it would have to be some force that has some sort of display of the supernatural. It's just like a lot of you girls that are getting got right now, you think source is something not supernatural. That's the actual issue. It's like, you know, you don't need them to release the Epstein files or the fucking files on the UFOs. You don't even need any of that stuff to know how metaphysically supernatural everything is. You don't need evidence of that. Like, the fact that you breathe and you're alive and you're walking around in a flesh suit is bizarre. It's very bizarre. we're still on the whole spinning solid mass thing, like in space. It's like, you see stars when the night comes. It's like, what do you think that is? There's no danger happening. It's your consciousness that's waking up. You're just realizing, like, it's always been more sacred than that. You're just realizing, like, right, even more reasons why the world is alive. I just want to remind you guys, like, keeping each other safe is something we're actively doing. It wasn't that COVID-19, it was like, oh, we need to fucking make sure we're all scrubbing each other's ass cheeks together. No, it's not even that we need to do more. We need to just be more aware that, like, what makes the world go round is everyone doing their part and being well enough to do it. So when we have all these systems where we actually don't care how people are, I don't even see what the point in freaking out on a day like today is. We have a bunch of schizophrenic, mentally ill, satanic motherfuckers. Not even the guys who are supposed to be that. Not even the guys who are like actually demons for. I just mean like most people are in such bad shape that they're not functioning at an optimal capacity. And yet they're business owners, they're running our economies, they're running our governments, they're everyday people, and they're all crazy. All the parents are crazy. You see, so it's like, why would we talk about World War III? Like, why are we even making news about that? Girl, it's World War III in every single one of these households across America. Of course. It's World War III in 2025 was World War III in my house. I know that. It's like, it's not really news. Everybody's fucked up. Everybody's up. Look how these girls live. They're still eating the 4 for 4 from fucking Wendy's, brother. We're not doing good. We're not. You know, most people, my issue is not that I want you to have a certain diet. My issue is that you literally, it is demonic to disassociate from what is on your plate and how it got there. That is my issue. If you can stomach that, just like that man who pulled up to Buford's and sprayed bullets, that's how they're doing every fucking chicken tendy on your plate. So I just don't understand why on a day like today, you girls are like, oh my God, they're just dropping bombs on us. To every cow out, that's a bomb dropped. And they're probably going to just rape you and your nipples until they're raw and bleeding before they fucking stun gun to the brain. So just don't forget that that's how you get what you have. So next time you want to call me a bitch for being a vegan, it's just because I don't want to stun gun to the brain. I don't want to stun gun any guy to the brain. Don't need to do that. You know, I can do just proper with my word. Trust me, daddy. Any criminal would pull up on me and I start opening my mouth, they're going to be like, fucking leave this bitch alone. Oh my God. Trust. I'm a nuisance. Trust. So that's what I want to remind all of you at this time. It is a consciousness thing that's happening. We are expanding and contracting into a new, more expansive understanding of what's going on, which is going to require you to face the fears of why you stayed in the mold, why you actually stayed thinking that it's like, it's harmless to eat a burger. You guys think about harm as in like, is it going to clog my arteries or give me a heart attack? I'm not even talking about your personal health. I'm talking about how much harm was caused in order for you to have that luxury or that good. Simple. So again, when I state facts or when I just say whatever, I'm not adding more I'm not more judgmental, I'm more conscious, okay? The things that I've been writing out on my tab page are conscious awareness. A lot of you have, for example, you might have friend groups, right? A conscious person, their friends, they're going to deeply know why they like the people that they like, why they spend the time with the people they like, why they've even called the people that they call their friends their friends. Many of you girls are not conscious yet. And so when you do friendships, you do it very differently. So you might look at me and be like, you're being so rude. You're talking about my boys. And I was like, no, only thing that's different between me and you is like, you have guys that you don't really know because you're not consciously aware what the real thing you're doing with them is. So you keep running around living life, and you're still, there's no consciousness expanding. And then you get mad at somebody who's got Uranus placements, who's gonna just come in and be like, well, I would never be around someone who's actually treating me like a slave. Like, that's not cool. I don't hang around white people anymore who actually like participate in like slavery as like a way of relating to black people that they know. You know what I mean? It's like, that's something I'm not doing anymore. Just because I'm conscious about it. Because I know that that's a dynamic I could go be in a friendship with, but I don't want to build a foundation like that. So again, that's all I mean to say. It's like, you girls, again, your literacy isn't enough because many of your nervous systems are just going to go berserk at this time. Because if you're not If you haven't been following the studio, you're probably really stupid still. Like, I do this for a lot of my guys who don't have degrees. I do this for my guys who need education that's like appropriate, and they need to be met where they are so they can fucking try. Because I really don't think it's worth it to be like, you know, because a lot of you guys are fucking 45. It's like, you never got a degree, never even finished high school and shit. It's like, what do we do for these guys? So I try to, you know, I try to give a baseline human education here that can be for anyone who I consider a sentient adult who's conscious enough, you know, to make a choice. I try to do that for the guys. So, yeah. But I'm going to do the first card it's just going to be an overview for March. So let's just do that. Wow. And I think the biggest thing that I'm stepping forward and doing is when moments like today or right now are happening when there's global activity going on, the biggest thing that I will say is look for the leaders who are stepping forward. The leaders. You know the bozos, you know the bums, you know the drama queens who are going to fucking react emotionally. But look for leadership that's arising. Right now is an amazing time because what's happening right now is the grid changing. The earth has changed from within, and now you're just seeing the resurfacing change. So the overview here is that new earth comes with new leadership. Why did I say this is your president speaking? Because it's your president speaking, okay? And that's what I mean is because, like, how did I get my way into the U.S. office? I forged a way by being the leadership that the country needed before the country even knew they were going to need a leader because of catastrophe. You're welcome. So one of the biggest things that I'm saying is, like, this broadcast right now, the clarification that I give, my grounded nature, my relatable nature, you know what I mean, really helps people get very valuable information that's actually very hard to decode, but I decode it for you because I am my dad's daughter, and I give it to you in a way that you can understand. And that, in my opinion, is the new leadership of the new earth. It requires you to step up and just like lead where it needs to be led. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so back to what I said about really having the courage to also understand that right now is about making some rubric of logic. So it's not that you're making a logic, because a lot of you girls are fucking control freaks and manipulators. So no, you're not creating a logic code that you're going to create the outcome for. You are going to receive what God is telling you is going to be the judgment. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be deeply personal for each of you. Whatever the judgment is for your situation, which means like whatever God says is going to happen next for you. First you start there, accepting that's what's going to happen next. That's what has to happen next, right? Say God's like, you have to leave this job now. You've got to leave this relationship now. You've got to move to this city. You've got to go back to your hometown. You've got to whatever, blah, 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 right? You accept that situation. And then you need to understand that will cause some sort of confrontation or tower because it's going to need to be some sort of change. But then you need to understand the thing that you need to do is just create a logic system that makes sense for you and will get you to that outcome. So I need to logically be thinking kind of head over heart decision where it's like, it's not about creating an emotional explosion over what God's word is. Because that's what I feel like humanity has been doing since the age of Pisces. It's like, we're just freaking out about what God is saying is coming, but we're not connecting to like, there's no need to just be like, oh my God, what's coming. It's like, that's all we're really doing rather than like aligning to what that outcome is. Like, when God gives you future vision, it's so that you can align your steps. It's not really for no reason. So the overarching theme is New Earth is here. What a beautiful thing for us. Happy March. It's so phenomenal. I think a lot of us, I had it today, my husband had it today, where we were like definitely activated into the leadership energy. So it was like, today, it wasn't about making us feel uncomfortable. Another thing, the divine at this time is going to use uncomfortable feelings to get you to do something. So I think a lot of you are realizing that. You're like, oh, wait. Because it's retrograde, so it feels like someone's starting beef, or it feels like, wait, what? This is getting out of control. But it's actually the universe just like triggering stuff, because again, back to the fated and destined, a lot of stuff has to get triggered at this time in order for you, this is so beautiful, in order for you to do something. Like right now, like there might be something that's like, okay, right now I need you to move or see an opportunity, and you wouldn't have seen it if I didn't make that person randomly come up to you and like flip you off in the car or cut you off on the traffic, and then that sent you in that whole tizzy, and then that tizzy got you to be like, you know what, I'm done driving this highway, I'm gonna go take somewhere else, and then you go take it. If you finally take that different route you should have always taken, and then you find something you need. It's like that right now. So a lot of also the emotional displays, they have a purpose. So I don't ever just trigger people for no reason. I trigger them to change. I really love a lot of people, and I really think that when I see people who are struggling, and again, I lost my best friend, so when I see people who are struggling or suffering from some sort of condition or spiritual malady, and they're around a lot of avoidant individuals in their community, that's where I step in. because I actually still care about you, even if you're being like toxic, rapist, crazy, whatever. I do still care about the fact that like you need to be given to equally for what you're giving. So if you're doing something heinous, you need the reflected back that like this is a heinous act and it's being seen and dealt with by the divine. And so it's just, these are all things that I do because I lost my best friend because of this issue, because of just this like avoidant community surrounding someone who was also really like not doing well in and of themselves. And it didn't help that she was just met with avoidance because there was just nothing constructive. And one of my biggest regrets is that I would have preferred the friction of being like, Mercy, what the fuck, I expect more out of you than just like what ended up happening, which is she's dead and we're stuck, you know? So more of my personal tidbits about how to deal with this time. So let's do a 4-week breakdown of some of the overviews off the top downloads. So obviously March, New Earth is here. That's beautiful. And New Earth comes with a whole new set of leadership. Really would encourage you guys to like be excited about all the new voices that are super calm at this time and super prepared and have a whole universe of groundedness available for you. So first week of March, March 1st through the 8th, let's just say, okay, the first 8 days of March are going to be all about forgiveness. All about forgiveness. So beautiful because that's how we brought in March 1st, was kind of like through a portal where I feel like people are finally reflecting right now on the fact that like they need to seek forgiveness because at the end of the day, everything has been stripped away from the year of the snake. So now that we're in the year of the fire horse, you see clearly from the year of the snake what was just your will. Let me repeat that. You see clearly now because there's nothing else attached to you, just yourself and your energy. You see the things you willed. You see the things that maybe even out of your ego you told yourself had to happen, or I had to kick them out, or I had to make that move. And you realize now it really wasn't even that. It was just my own will. It was my free will to do that. And so a lot of the apologies that need to go out in the first 8 days of March have to do with like, I owe you an apology because I totally willed something. It was my choice to do something. It's just like things that it's like, you definitely owe an apology because it's like something you did. And yeah, again, like I said, year of the snake, you probably had your reasons in your mind why you were going to be doing this. You were going to will this into being. Because it's not even what you did is the problem. It's that you forced an outcome into being. So this is actually forgiveness you need to be seeking from God. It's not even just if you're doing or giving apologies in the first week to other people or things or whatever. It's actually a reflection of the apology you owe to God, because these are the people who put something on God's plan. Because when the fated and destined weeks happen, it's like putting your will on top of God's plan creates bugs. And I just feel like the first 8 days, there could be a lot of towers. There are going to be all the towers that are man-made fall. And that is exactly why there's so much apology energy. Because the fallout from that is literally because someone chose to do that. Because of what someone was deciding to do. So there is this sense of forgiveness, but I also want to say that I feel like the forgiveness doesn't really need to be something that's initiated with other people too much. This is like a deep, like you're going to just have to forgive yourself because it looks like your own free will might have caused something. Like I said, you might be the reason for the collapse in your own life. You might be the reason for whatever's happening. So it's just important to really love yourself and forgive yourself. Like me right now. Me and my husband are going through something where we're going to have to really release something. And I think the most important thing isn't even about like what communicating that we have to release this thing to the world or whatever, or let go of it. It's more about just making sure like Dennis and Alexis, as soon as like, that's why we're going slow with things. It's like, just forgive yourself. This isn't weird that you have to leave this place or you have to get out of this situation because it's not sustainable. So that's why I'm back to that logic. The logic is like, it makes sense why you have to leave your divorce. It makes sense why you got to break up. It makes sense why you got to quit the job. It makes sense why it would make that make sense because it's probably unsustainable in some way. But the thing that emotionally you're feeling, instead of projecting it onto someone else, just forgive yourself, because you would have started off the first 8 days by going up to someone and being like, I need an apology from you because you hurt me or you did something with your will, when reality is if they did something that fucked up the God's plan, it's going to get removed by God, and you just need to make sure you forgive yourself for attracting that. Because that's actually what's making you emotional. That's actually what's like stirring you up, is that you did that. You betrayed yourself. You allowed this to be in your life in the first place when it was like, because I'm seeing a lot of the stuff that has to go right now. It was always what it was. And maybe you've been growing, you've been changing, you've been doing whatever, but it was always what it was. So again, it's just going to be a self-forgiveness thing. and seeking forgiveness from a higher power is really important. Internal reflection for the first week of March. So beautiful. Let's look at the 9th through the 16th, or the 17th. Yeah, 9th through the 17th. 2 cards came out. Beautiful, beautiful. Because it's so, and matter of fact, it's so important for you for this first week of March, the first 8 days, March 1st to the 8th. It's so important for you to really, really spend some time. Matter of fact, I might probably do an initiative for the first week of March that's really about self-forgiveness, some sort of meditation or daily mantras or something in writing, so we can really wake up and just forgive ourselves a lot. Because I think the beautiful thing about the second week of March is it's actually a love fest. Your path to service opens up, and there's a need. I feel like this is where a lot of T Studio was preparing for, because we're going to be we kind of have like a lot of lull seasons until certain things kick in terms of collective conscious ascension. But when that does kick in, this studio is really going to be a service. So you kind of see me and my husband do the like, gather the nuts, gather the nuts, gather the nuts. And it takes years and years at a time where it's like, what are you guys doing? But it actually makes sense, because when calamity strikes, something like what we have and the connection that we have to the divine, always being on the phone with the divine, is really helpful. So there's going to be a lot of love from the 9th through the 17th for you in March because of the service you offer. But again, you have to forgive yourself, because you can't serve. It's like working at a food kitchen, but like, you're like openly weeping because you're like, I wasn't there for my children. Like, what the fuck? You like gotta feed these homeless people like fucking food. Like, you don't need to be crying about like your failures in life. You know what I mean? I think it's just like, you're gonna be really called to step into service in the second week of March. And you're really gonna be loved for it. It's a positive thing. You're really gonna be deeply loved for the service you offer. Because it's almost like spontaneously, when spontaneity strikes, you have this, I'm almost getting, this is like being prepared for virality. God is actually, that's what I'm saying right now with me, that this is like, we don't have to be dramatic, but we really just need to be like, we're getting elevated to a better place. So we're going to just let ourselves be, because it's time for us to do this. It's time for us to step into an actual, do you mind just turning it down just like while I'm trying to do something in the headphones, just because like right now, I just don't have a lot of voice and I just can't hear myself at all. Okay, so the path of service is it's such a spontaneous experience where it could be, like I said, you always keep a spiritual business open, then all of a sudden it's like there's all of these people who need your service, okay, because of something spontaneous. So it's just like that second week, your path of service and your self-love needs to be on 10, because you might spontaneously have a lot of traffic, a lot of need for that service that you uniquely give through your purpose. So just being prepared for that. That's why I feel like this first week it can be sorrowful, or it's just about mending that relationship to self and that self-trust. Because again, it just gives water under the bridge. It gives, try to be logical this week over emotionally reacting to it, because it's like, it really doesn't matter, because we just have to move forward. Like, whatever you really don't like, or whatever you could really like express your emotions about, you might need to just make the cut and be like, because that's what I'm saying is like, sometimes when things are misaligned for you, you could spend all day talking shit about it, right? But then you also just need to like cut it and let it go. It's going to be better at this time, because there's just so much of the new stuff that needs to be dealt with. That isn't the old stuff that's falling away, that's triggering you or making you feel some type of way. Does that make sense? Let's go to the 18th to the 26th, like the 25th. Leadership poked out, prosperity poked out. Let's look at the third week. Healing. The third week of March is going to require all of our healers to the forefront. So really great news for all of my light workers, grid workers, healers, shamans, holy people. You guys are going to be up. Seers, you're going to be up. All of you, the third week, there's going to be a lot of people who need healing the third week, just so you know. Globally, all the time. But a lot of people in the third week were really going to need healers, and it's a perfect opportunity, because sometimes you don't know how special healers are unless there's a bunch of fucking dead people, sick people, hurt people who get miraculously healed. So it's going to be awesome, because I feel like, again, you need to hear God when I say this. God is only setting up this dramatic of a fucking whatever so that we can see how wonderful the other aspect of Scorpio is, which is the regenerative side, right? Not just the poisoning, but the regeneration, the filtering out of the poison, the healing of it all. So it's really beautiful because the third week of March really gives deep incubation vibes, deep, like, you're gonna have that opportunity to really heal, which I think is really amazing. Again, because I think everyone the second week is gonna be called to align to their path of service and how they can be love incarnate on earth for all people. And that's gonna really create a sense of healing the third week that's just really feeling like, okay, good, people are finally like, this is dumb, we've gotten sick enough, we've gotten hard enough on ourselves, it's just a good time to go ahead and find somewhere to heal, right? This is intentional healing. This is a new thing for planet Earth. Third week of March, huge. People are finally gonna go heal what's wrong. Third week of March. And by the fourth week of March, Aries season, gone like the wind. You are gonna be able to flow with the wind. I just see that. I just see so much. This is spirit returning. I feel like spirit is about to come back onto the earth. I feel like this is heaven and earth. This is the spiritual realm and the earth coalescing. So in March, I feel like heaven and earth coalesce. And it's not even really heaven. It's not the like paradise. It's actually spirit battle. This is like when Korra permanently opens like the spirit world portal. That's kind of what it's going to be like by the fourth week. You know, spontaneously, it's almost like spirit is like on the earth, you know, and I just feel like this is such a beautiful portal because it goes through the portal of your heart. It goes through the portal of, you know, I have to say I forgive myself for the ways that I was affecting my ability to do my own path of service. There's only my path of service. There's nothing else that's required of me. And in fact, all the things that I'm seeing all over the place are the real reason why I'm doing this. And I'm so grateful for Mercury retrograde because I need to communicate not from my emotions or what broke down, but from what is the real call. What's that? And that's huge because remember we talked about leadership was what qualified this new earth. New earth isn't about the fact that the old world dissolves and what's left. It's what got called out of you to go build. And so I just feel like even for me, I was just gonna say for us, like we need to communicate, like actually it's really good things, but the world really needs us to step in and just like, we're gonna eliminate doing extra work right now because we're really needed in our businesses right now in a way that's like whatever. And all the breakdowns here are just showing that as much as we want to just be here, it's not. You can't always do that. You can't always do that. Because sometimes your path of service is going to be affected if you're always somewhere else or doing something else. So I can forgive myself because I was always the most valuable to God when I do what God needs me to do, which is this. And I think it's about me and Dennis trusting full time that what we channel, like what he's channeling right now, what I'm doing right now, are actually the most valuable things that God needs from us. And it's not that we had to go figure it out again and this or that. I think this would be the month to trust in that portal, you know, trust in what you've done. And trust that you need to make sure that your path of service ultimately is not blocked by anything that's going to make you have to forgive yourself later. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I think that's what happened a lot of like the end of February and going into March. It's just like February kind of just ended it. February just kind of said what it needed to say. But now it's just kind of that like solemn, like we've all been separated. We've all gone our separate. We all know what happened and needed to happen. But now comes this really deep, and like I said, I'm really going to make sure I'm going to remind myself to do that. But that first week, I'm going to guide us through for the next 8 days. Some really great self-forgiveness rituals that I feel like come to me, so that we can do that together, because I think it would be really good for us to do that together. Not even like together, it's like, what do we all think? Like, no, just like so you remember daily, at a daily capacity, be like, I deeply forgive myself, you know, for X, Y, and Z, and how that has played out in my life, because I now am aware of what my path of service is and how I can feel God's love by doing so. I'm also aware that there's a big call for me to do that because people might need me to step into that healing ability. My regenerative, like people who have gone through death and rebirth processes in their own life are really going to be vital at this point, because so many people unfortunately lived in an illusion where they've never died before. They've never had to die to self before. So they're freaked out right now. And it would just be so wonderful and healing to see all the guys who've had to do it a million times feel like they can repurpose that, you know? So that's our 4-week breakdown. And then we're just going to do so that's really beautiful, you guys. 44 minutes. I'm so happy to be doing my job. So we're going to go on to, it's like the Empress is revealed. But that's what's kind of happened. Like after going through all of my emotions and all of my experiences, you know, it's like, that's really what's coming out through all of it, you know? you guys. So March 1st, the whole root message of March is leaving this Babylon. Right. Life after death. Look at this. This is what God is instructing. Leave the devil bondage. Leave it where it stands. You should go. There's a reason. You all heard it. I'm calling it. It's time to go. Grab your soul. It's time to go. I'm right here. It's a deeply, I know that sounds crazy. It wasn't because of a nuke. You grab your soul and time to go. There's going to be an internal call where God just lets you know you're free from this prison. You served your karma. You don't have to be here anymore. And you don't have to expect that it's going to be heavy. And you don't have to expect that it's going to be drama. Leave knowing that I'm just free to go. I don't have to do this anymore. And leave from that. This is a logical leave knowing it's about what I go create next. It's it's saying that's toxic, but it is about saying that I'm going forward now. And the most important thing is like whatever's in front of me it's really right now about that distinction that you feel like I am being released from that experience, you know. Right. Because this is what happened within. You're in union within because you have invested in your internal union. That's the reason for what felt like today you woke up and it's just like, I just ejected myself straight up from the demonic. Look. And I think too, many of us were in union with this. This is all of us coming out of contracts with demonic devil contracts, bondage contracts, karmic contracts, because you have enough evidence now. It's not going to change. Staying tethered to it is not going to change it. Staying married to this energy is not going to change it. It just keeps you both bound. So this whole month, we're going to see most people set free to go on a new path, one that does not involve bondage. Ooh, this is huge. It's powerful. Because you have been in the marriage, so you know what kind of fruit it bears. But if God is telling you the fruit that are growing from this union, whether this is a job contract, family contract, friendships, or lovers, anything in between, it's all things that are this devil undertones. You have sat and invested too. This is why self-forgiveness is going to be called the first week, because it's like it looks like a lot of you invested in the union. So it's dealing with the fact that it's like I have to leave it now because I did invest in all this shit. But I'm investing in devil bondage. Right. Because there is hell breaking loose on earth and it's God's say. So only hierophants, only people who have a relationship with God are going to be distinguished from all this. Because why you're packing your bag and going is because God has called you out of the fire. God said, trust me, have the courage, have the faith, have the bravery, and walk out and watch how no one will touch you. They are going to be stuck hitting sticks with each other, and you are now out of vibrational resonance. That is why you're being called out of it. You're not in vibrational resonance with this anymore. I'm telling you, that is why all March you were being called out of it. Exactly. Because you were following the intuitive call. Do you see this? This is a call from God that says it's time to go. It's time to grab your soul. It's time to go. I'm right here. I was going to tell you when that cycle was over. It's not always that you're in a war-torn space. Sometimes being a part of Babylon means you're just like working in a job under a late stage, under a system that's collapsing. And so come up out of that. When God calls you to come up out of that, that's what's happening right now. Nia's not shut up this whole time, brother. She's not shut up this whole time. So she's like really like communicating a lot.
I feel like it's so cool. Because it's just like, today it was like, the call was...
It's internal.
It's internal, but as soon as you hear it...
Once you hear it, it's like, there's not even anything to say. That's what I was trying to tell you. It's like, it's very logical. It's not anything. It's like a trumpet sounds, and it's like, we're good to leave this.
Yeah. We
don't even have to do this anymore type of thing. And that's so important, because it's going to set you on a brand new experience. But again, for those who are faithful, because again, we're in this month as a page, which means it's a completely new beginning. It's just you with your new magic abilities. But what got you to this in the past was that you were pretty knighted in your intuition. You've been following God. You've been creating rapport. When God says jump, this is someone who says how high. You know what I'm saying? When God says go put their, this is also God, this is also in the very recent past. God told you to apply for something. God told you to put something here. God told you to go up to somebody and offer him flowers. I'm telling you why. You don't know why, but I'm telling you why. Because you're going to be free to go. I'm hearing opening scene, downtown 81. You're free to go now. You're out of the loony bin. You've separated yourself. So important. So important. Because soulmates are what triggered you to go within and see where you were trapped. A soulmate is what triggered all of that. Because it triggered your healing. So whether you're starting that journey, whether something's called, whether the call for you is like you should align to this soul level living, soul-based living, but when you go on that journey, you're gonna start a pretty painful process of auditing all the stuff that is not honoring your soul. And for many of you, it could be collapsing entire lifestyles, entire communities, businesses, connections, groups, identities. It could be so many things that when you realize, it happened to us. We went to our sister's house yesterday, and I'm telling you, her soul resonates with us like nothing, and she doesn't always live in a soulful way and put herself in an environment where she's really isolated a lot, but she doesn't always put herself in an environment where her soul gets touched. So every time she's with us, she's always having like out of body cancer experiences, but we're always just like, girl, you gotta get to that soulful living so that you don't always have this feeling of like starving yourself or keeping it outside of yourself when your soul gets some nourishment, some water, you know what I mean? But it is deeply healing. That Four of Cups. Wow. And in the near future, it's because infinity, you're going to be mixing infinity with, look how much emotional capacity you have. This is also so Tethered Studios coded. It's like Tethered Studios took a burner phone, but the demand is so high for what I was doing. It's like it's almost like a lot of people are going to realize it's like when you get your business down to a science and the business doesn't need a bunch of extra parts. It's like, I could take this camcorder and do it, or I could take this laptop and do it. And then comes the amount of people who are trying to get drunk. Do you get what I'm saying? Because this is that part of March where I was like, there's going to be a supply and demand conversation happening, where it's like when everyone finally leaves what is finished, what cups are dried up, they move forward to figuring out how to produce something for themselves. So these are people in the future who are able to source their life and their happiness for eternity. But again, it's only because, that's what I'm saying, you might be thinking you're being asked in the first week of March to walk away from something that's going to put you in a bad position. It's actually God, it's your coronation. It's because you're about to go on to the life where it's like, well, it's only because God's telling you Dolphin Boy Records is actually about to sustain you by itself. You don't have to do anything else. Tethered Studios, it's time now. Tethered Studios is going to sustain you by it. You don't have to do anything else. So I'm just telling you right now, make sure if you got to put in 14 days notice or something, I'm telling you right now to do that so that your timing is right. You know what I mean? So that you can really feel good with the eclipses. Like I said, my birthday was thrilling because the theme of it was about exactly what the eclipse portals were really on. This is so beautiful. You manifested something. And I just wanted to also say, like, a lot of you, like I said, if you guys practice tantra, sex magic like us, it's like you created this. You created this. But you're not. Look. I literally said you created it. This magician's wand has been in this queen's cup. Your masculine and feminine created this. Something they alchemized. Your new beginning's ready for you. This isn't even a sad thing. Our new beginning is ready for us. We don't have to deliver bad news. Because if you because like I said, we don't even have to send anything. It's like, we're great. We're actually about to leave on tour. It's like, we're not going to be here. It's like going to just be like, it's elevation. We're getting elevated out of here. And
it's
so.
It's like what was delivered last week. Like, it wasn't actually like fake. I was like spirit's message.
Yep.
Like, you're good.
Start getting ready. Start getting ready. Because it's time to go. Look. There's a chariot coming for you. Because you actually manifested it. Because the reason your thing didn't manifest is because of the ways that you were tethered to things that you wouldn't. It's the non-release. There's things we weren't letting go of. There are things Dennis and I are having to let go of today, and we have to forgive ourselves for, that were in the way of us going on the Children of America tour. We're sitting here blaming everybody else, but it's like, no, you're still harboring feelings, energies, whatever, that keep you from actually being able to have the opportunity to come meet you. It's not that the opportunity didn't want to meet you, but you can't be holding on to a bunch of stuff that is old, that needs to be. You get what I'm saying? See, because the chariot is contingent on whether or not you're a king of swords. It's contingent on whether you're detached. Period. And I think the other thing that we really feared is communicating this truth. I think there was just a lot of fear about this truth being communicated because there was just so much Seven of Swords. There's just like no clarity. I think there's, again, we obviously had the Devil card out, so there's just like a lot of people who serve the author of confusion, and I think a lot of times like it confuses you. Like I think for many of us, because I know this is me, my truth has been the same, and in fact there were a lot of instances where I was trying to just say my truth. I wasn't even gonna rock with you girls because I knew you were gonna mess with the truth. But I think when you're dealing with people who serve the author of confusion, it can really make you fearful of telling the truth. I feel like this is like a majority thing. When you're in an environment where the majority of the people around you don't live in truth, it just really makes it feel like, that's what I'm waking up to right now. Is like, I should have no reason being like, oh, life is just getting good for us. Like, that's what the exciting news is.
Right.
Is that it's time for us to just move past this.
Yeah.
Actually.
But it is so true. It's just like, that's exactly.
But I think the only reason we don't think about it that way and haven't let it is because we've been in a negative environment. That has to do with a lot of like disillusionment. This is a huge transfer because I should title this reading, in March, there's a remagnetization happening. There are people who want to be lovers, and then there's people who want to be responsible for all the things. A lot of people want to win right now, and they don't realize they're dealing with lovers. So like for us in our circumstance, some people want dominion over us in certain aspects, and me and Dennis are about to just be like, you can have it all. I'll do you one better. You can literally have it all. Let's just make the environment better for everybody. Let's just make it, you know what? I don't even want that because, for example, like me and Dennis, we work together right now because of this. Because we're like just so in love with each other. It's not even about anything else. So for us though, because our priority is staying in love and not so much being like, that's why I'm taking a job that I'm getting paid a barista's fucking chump change, and I have a degree, and I'm also the person who runs Tethered Studios. Why am I doing that? Because I'm a fucking fool in love. Because I'm just doing it to be with my husband. You know, God's asking us to do work together, ground down the light, bring our light somewhere. We're just doing that. But for the people at that job that get me fucked up every day, because I'm like, I'm not here because a lot of people try us and test us and think that we get offended by the ways that they want to put us in boxes and be like, you're not good enough at this. And it's like, the funny thing is I'm not even here for that. So then this is what I'm saying. I just feel like that's the example they wanted me to show you. It's going to be like that. It's like, where it's like, you can actually have all of it. I actually think it would be better if you do it, actually. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think we're disagreeing here. Actually, you do agree. Yeah, you should do it. Because I think there's just the people who are in love with each other are so clear that they're on a different path. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people, for example, like, I'm seeing scandals where it's like, you might be the helm of a major corporation company, right? Major brand or something. And people don't know you've been on this, like, lover's journey. But this is the era where it's like, you go and you just realize, like, I'm actually just, like, kind of leaving the business. And because to you, it's not that you don't care about your life's work or that you even stopped it. It's more like, yeah, but really, though, I may have made this whole business when I didn't have a lover or wasn't on a lover path. But then when you get this type of divine love, you're like, well, that's all that really matters, because I told you guys, it was going to happen. Lovers were going to get pronounced when there were bombs in the sky. Why? Because nothing makes you understand what really matters in life like bombs in the sky, right? Being in love was danger and death is the fastest way to get. That's why 213 is a gorgeous portal for the future. That's why I'm great for the presidency, because technically death energy is very romantic. It's very romantic that Dracula's like, because it's like, what are we all working so hard for? To become a better bachelor, bachelorette, for what? Love. The more you have, the more ambition you have, the more you go do, the more you probably seem appealing to something. The more you tell the truth about what kind of person you are, what kind of capacity you have, what you could attract in, right? So then that means everybody's really looking for love. And I just feel like that 10 of Wands lovers is like, there is a lovers leap. Like there's a giant, like all the lovers who are really lovers are like, we don't actually care because we're actually doing all the things we do for love. That is a source-based person though. Someone who's like, I'm really leaving all this though because if it's gonna affect the love and I came here to support the love, then this can go. Because I'm really a lover. I'm not actually here. There are plenty of people who aren't on the lover frequency. And if you're not on the lover frequency, you're probably not fucking with Tethered Studios. You're probably not doing nothing over the gang's way. But also, you're probably somewhere trying to have an ego about like wanting to be responsible for the company. So I feel like this is a big piece. It's like, let them take over the company. Let the guys who think they can do it so much better do it. Because you're actually in love. So that's the crazy part. It's like, you don't even need this anymore. You don't. What do you need the hustle for? You have a chance at real love, and I would just say, March, you should take it. You should forgive yourself, because I think there's going to need to be a forgiveness, because I think a lot of you are realizing, I have a love story that I'm supposed to go share with. I can just go spend my time being deeply in love with all the people that are meant for me. So what do I need to really do with all this image or with all this brand or with all this stuff or with... You guys thought it was a joke why me and Dennis kept our businesses at this place. But you don't realize we birthed the businesses out of our love. So we were already 10 steps ahead of you girls, because most of the times you have to scale your business back when you have a love this big that requires so much of your presence and physical time. Because it's like you would want to be spending most of your time with your nut, with the person that activates you and has you going googly-eyed and crazy, right? So it's like, we already had that from the beginning. Before we knew we were entrepreneurs, we knew we were lovers. And so when you worked that way for us, it was just like, yeah, we're going to keep these businesses light though, so that it doesn't actually, like right now, we're 2 centimeters away from each other. Like, I know you guys only get the perspective of me talking, but he's always right here doing his work right next to me. Right? And so that's what I mean, where it's like, if the brand, if the business is if the everything on top of it is so much more, I think right now you're really going to feel a propensity, especially with the way that the external climate and paradigm is collapsing in so many ways. It might really just center you in March to just be thinking about the things that you really just like. I'm telling you, like, if you really, it's just like, you know, the good earnest baby mamas and baby daddies out there that it's like, you know what? If bombs dropped, I'm just grabbing my kid and that's it. I don't, you know, it doesn't matter how much you do for the world and stuff. Like, most of us know that's the truth. That, like, if you had to be a parent only, it doesn't matter if you're the biggest celebrity in the world, if you had to be a parent only and something threatened your life, I think you would just want to make sure you're with your kid on, like, you know, you just want to, like, hold your baby or something, or you just want to, whatever. You're not going to want to be doing any of that dumb stuff. And I think this would definitely be the month where it's like, you allow yourself to be like, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'll let everybody, you guys got that. There's gonna be a lot of good delegation of just like wand work. Like I said, 10 of wands, like just burdensome stuff. It's like it's not even sad. It's just like, yeah, I'm really on a lover frequency. I'm not really on a, I don't have a stake in this, you know? And I think this is where the lovers really get remagnetized, because lovers are gonna go wherever lovers can go. You know, they're it's not even a dark thing. You're not going to get ejected out of anything particularly. You're just going to realign to something where your lover frequency can be honored, where the environment actually likes that you're a lover and it actually supports what you're doing. Because it might just be going to like I'm not saying that lovers don't work in society. No. I just mean if you have to, like, say, for example, you realize like, oh, this old job identity just doesn't work because I'm a lover and I don't really care about, it's only asking me to show up in all these other ways. It's not really honoring like that I'm a lover, and that's what I really bring here. So what you would end up realigning to is somewhere that's like really stoked about your commitment and your path as like someone who's like truly in love. So those are all really amazing downloads off the top. I think March is going to be really dynamic and beautiful. I think that's a really positive message. I didn't see that coming. That was so amazing. I'm so excited to listen to this back. But I'm so proud of all of you. I really just wanted to, you know, come forward and like reiterate that it's like, it is so amazing what you're doing, what you're surviving through, what you're living through, how you're thinking about it. And it's really more so incredible that you're on this studio and that you take the time that it takes to reflect with your spirit and commune with your creator. And I think that is very awesome for you. And I hope that you feel like you have found nuggets of information that are extremely valuable. And then I hope that this message has changed your perspective in the same way that it has changed mine. I came in here kind of knowing what God needed me to do, but also being like, I don't really know how I'm supposed to approach it. And I know it's retrograde, so let me just take a second. And this has just been so much more enlightening, because it isn't, I don't have to make war if I don't want to. It just because we have to go our separate ways or we have to not be connected to one another doesn't mean that I have to like bomb myself on the way out. I don't. You know? Doesn't mean I have to bomb others, because it's not going to make anyone feel better. The divine has already given the karma. Like whenever they do something to you, it's already done. So you don't have to add anything. You don't have to feel the need to like fucking twist the knife or anything. I mean, it's already been as twisted as appropriately as it needs to be twisted. So again, I hope I really got you to like be able to slow down, think about the things that you obviously know what changes you need to make. But again, I talked about it's like this sobering, like it's just the logic of it. We know why it doesn't work. All we're doing right now is taking one for the team and realizing where we all go directly after this separation from one another is onto our path of service, is onto our path of love. So it's all love and light, because even the partner that you got to break up with, even the baby mamas and baby daddies, even the businesses you got to let go of, even the friends you got to let go of, even the family you got to separate from, whatever it is, everyone is doing that because they need to go and realign to divine love. So it's exciting in that sense that it's like, if it's not me, it's something way better for you, you know? And I think that is an extremely freeing truth for all parties involved. Let me see if God has any other closing message. I think I did a great job for an hour. That was a great... The wind. Oh my God, the same thing came out. This is beautiful. Spirit is returning to the earth. The earth was so low vibrational. It wasn't somewhere that spirit could dwell. Spirit is now able to dwell on earth. And that is so beautiful. And it's through all the purging and the transmutation that each and every one of you, conscious and unconscious, have committed to. So I'm very proud of every single person on this planet for committing to do what God needed you to do. Because of that, we are able to have the spiritual realms on this planet supporting us a lot more in a very physical way, in a very reinforced way. So that we don't ever have to go so long thinking like, when is judgment day coming? Because that's a manifestation of feeling really separated from God. Like predicting like, when is God going to come back down in the clouds and fuck us all up? It's like just a projection of like how much we are suffering from the separation of it all. Because I feel like our nature should be that we were amongst the spirits, not like separate from them in different realms. So I'm really excited for planet Earth. I'm really excited for all of us. I hope this was a really foundational message. And I hope you have this. Like God does not want me to say that. So I hope you have a heart-opening March. That one came out better. Can't even tell you what I was trying to say because God was like, no. You know? So yeah. No one does what I do. You're welcome. I'm a legacy child. A Nepo baby, if you will. I've never experienced spiritual poverty before, so that's how you know. Anywho, guys, I'm getting sleepy, so I'm gonna go to bed now. But yeah, if you didn't know, I love you deeply. I hope your spirit is soothed, and I hope that you truly are able to breathe deeply and know that it's okay. Everything is okay. You are going to be more than okay. In fact, this is the best place you've probably been in your entire life. So that's good for you. But yeah, like I said, take all the advice, run this video back, slow it down, pause it, write notes, share it with a friend who you think might be having, nervous system activations at this time and might need some grounded oversight about our movement. But other than that, you guys, I think you guys are amazing. Have a phenomenal rest of your Sunday. Happy March.